Time for Media Watch now. James Creedon is with us in the studio for that. James, good to see you. We're starting with a story in Morocco tonight. A fish seller in one of the more dominated Berber areas of Morocco. He died. Now, the video went viral. He was reportedly, the police threw away some swordfish because it's illegal to fish with swordfish. And he then protested and ended up getting crushed to death in a kind of a rubbish truck.
That's right.
And this has really upset people in Morocco. Thousands of people have been protesting.
Well, first of all, his funeral was just this enormous event with thousands and thousands and thousands of people who didn't know him at all, just feeling so horrified by what had happened that they were lending their support to his family and showing their indignation. You can see here his name was Mouhcine Fikri, so his name is trending online. Also, some other hashtags, you'll see them in the tweets that follow. One says "crush him," which is a horrible image, but it is what happened to him in the rubbish truck. And the other says "we are all Mouhcine Fikri." So there's a lot of solidarity being expressed online. And this word here, hagra, now that was a word that came up an awful lot around the time of the Arab Spring in Tunisia in particular, where there was a similar uprising. We'll get to that in a moment. And that word means injustice, but it has a lot of connotations related to the Arab Spring. And Morocco is the most stable country by a long way in North Africa. It's got a royal family, King Mohammed rather, and the royal family adds a lot of stability, I suppose, to the political system. So this is sort of something that I suppose the Moroccan authorities will be concerned about.
But you very, very, very rarely see protests in Morocco.
That's right. So but this hashtag here is the one I was talking about, saying "crush him," and you can see, I suppose, a lot of people in the streets holding up signs as well. And I suppose the image of being crushed is an image that a lot of people would associate then with a police brutality or heavy-handedness by the authorities. So that's the sort of theme that is coming through. That is a cartoon just literally showing what happened. And what you can see here at the back is a sort of ticking time bomb, if you like, where this sort of police brutality. Now, what essentially happened is the policeman took the swordfish off him because, as you said, you're not allowed to sell swordfish at this time of the year. There are quotas and whatnot. It was thrown into the rubbish truck, and Mouhcine Fikri went in after the swordfish, and there's some accusations then that the police officer might have indicated to the guy who was driving the truck to actually activate the crusher. In any case, it has infuriated a lot of people in Morocco.
The king has ordered an investigation to see exactly what happened.
Exactly. And
but yeah, as you say, there are a lot of parallels with what happened in Tunisia with the young man Mohamed Bouazizi.
That's right.
Who set himself on fire, didn't he?
That's
when
right.
Police took away his wares because he didn't have a license.
That's right. So that happened in 2011. It was in Sidi Bouzid, and it was the incident that sparked everything that followed in Tunisia, and then there was this kind of chain reaction. So there are these sort of tipping point moments that you can have, and I suppose the question has been, with these sort of scenes in the streets of Moroccan cities, is this a sort of a tipping point for Moroccans? Now, I suspect that it will calm down, but the comparisons have been made with Mohamed Bouazizi and what happened in Sidi Bouzid when he set himself on fire for a similar type incident where the police were kind of heavy-handed. And
he said he couldn't make a living, right?
That's right.
Exactly. All right, let's move on to Turkey because there's been a lot of unrest there. The police have really cracked down on media outlets at the weekend, and today they arrested the editor-in-chief, one of the country's top left-leaning newspapers. It translates as Republic.
That's right.
And the journalists there saying they won't be intimidated.
That's it. And so you can see, I'll just show you some of the French media reaction, essentially, because this is seen as just the latest example of a repressive attitude towards the media. It's essentially the main opposition newspaper. It's a secularist newspaper, Cumhuriyet, and this headline here says Erdogan. Thank you. The pronunciation is difficult to get right. Erdogan continues his repressive wave. You can see the front page of the newspaper here, basically what it is saying, the headline, and you can see Ataturk there, the founder of secularism in Turkey. Journalism is not a crime. So really, there's a sense here that free and fair journalism is what's really being targeted. 670 press cards have been suspended by the central authority. This is a book written by one of the main journalists of the newspaper who himself has been arrested, and there are people encouraging those to go out and buy that book to figure out what's actually happening to journalism in Turkey. Today's editorial of Le Monde saying that Erdogan is moving further and further away from Europe. They're essentially, with the possible re-establishment of the death penalty and with journalists being accused of terrorism, some are saying this is really a very risky time for journalists in Turkey. And I'll just finish with this tweet where another Turkish writer is saying Europe must sort of show its support for what now is becoming the biggest prison of journalists in the world, i.e. Turkey.
OK, now a week, or just over a week to go until the US election. Some say it's been the most monstrous in American history, which is interesting because today is Halloween, of course.
That's right. So a perfect moment to fet everything monstrous.
Exactly.
And here you have just a couple of cartoons. That is Mr. Comey of the FBI turning up at Hillary Clinton's doorstep. So one trick-or-treater that she would rather not see, I'm sure. That is Donald Trump, often accused of perhaps a little bit too much orange, kind of in his just general look.
It's his season.
That's it. The comparisons have been made.
Oh, dear.
Speaking of Donald, that is his Donald Trump brother. That is his Twitter account. So he's, of course, assuming that everyone will be dressing up as Hillary Clinton in this particular manner. Meanwhile, over at Breitbart, which is essentially aligned with the Trump campaign, Halloween hell is what they're terming the last few days for Hillary. And indeed, apparently, it seems that since 1996, there is a link between how many masks are sold for such and such a candidate and the person who wins.
So the more masks that are sold, that's the person that wins?
That's right. So the jury, apparently Trump. But I think that's not a very scientific study.
Why not? Eat your heart out, Nate Silver. James Creedon is here.
All right. Thanks, Laura.
James, thank you very much indeed. We'll have to leave it there. That's Media Watch.